Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my updated Oscar predictions for June, this time for the acting categories. I guess we might as well just start off with Best Lead Actress. Alright, I'm pretty confident in the top three. I think the top three will most likely happen. Alright, right now, I'll go with the whole thing of Lady Gaga winning for Joker Folie à Deux, because there is a good narrative there. You know, there's been an argument, that she's been overdue for an acting Oscar. Like, she was fantastic in A Star Is Born. She was very good in House of Gucci, which she didn't even get nominated for. And I feel like if Joker Folie à Deux gets into Best Picture, then I do feel like Lady Gaga would come along with it. Like, at least in terms of, like, if it gets nominated for Best Picture, she's probably going to win Best Lead Actress. Because, obviously, I don't think they're going to do Joaquin Phoenix again. But, the whole thing about this film is that, now we're seeing Harley Quinn. And since this is, like, a new face that we're seeing in this world, like, this could probably be a good showcase for Lady Gaga. And she is going to be doing a lot in this. We could potentially see a bunch of crime thriller stuff like how we saw in the first Joker. And it's a musical, so we're going to be seeing her sing and stuff. So I do feel like there is a good case for her to win here. But in terms of a nomination, I'm very, very confident in Angelina Jolie for Maria. Pablo Larraín, in his, female biopics that he's done with Jackie and Spencer, both Natalie Portman and Kristen Stewart got nominated at the Oscars. And even, at the critics' circles, like, those two were sweeping. So Angelina Jolie might do the same thing here. Although, then again, there also is there is an argument that she could win as well. But I think for Angelina Jolie to win for Maria, this movie needs to be a lot more accessible. Like, it can't be like Jackie or Spencer where it's kind of vague. It needs to be a bit more broadly appealing for audiences. And if that happens, then there's a good chance Lady Gaga could be challenged, because let's just face it, like, Joker 2 is going to be accessible for general audiences. It was very, I think that's why, despite the divisive reviews, the first Joker was such a awards juggernaut, because it didn't get like the best reviews, but for general audiences it was very, very accessible and very well liked. So I think that's the one thing that's going to be challenging Maria. Angelina Jolie could definitely start winning the critic circles, but if this movie is just not accessible in a broadly appealing way, she might not win the Oscar. But again, in terms of a nomination, I think she can probably just get in. And then Saoirse Ronan for Blitz. There is an argument, whether it's going to be Saoirse Ronan for Blitz or Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun, which The Outrun I have down at number 12. But I think because Blitz is looking more like a Best Picture juggernaut, because I already have it in to win director, and I think it's going to perform very well at the Golden Globes and BAFTAs. So I feel like Saoirse Ronan is going to do just fine here. But again, I think this is just going to be another role that she gets nominated for but doesn't win for. And then we get into the ones that I'm not so confident in. Where I'm like, because again, who knows what could come out later this year. I have Jessica Lange for Long Day's Journey into Night. I still don't know when this movie's coming out. Let me see. Okay, so apparently it still does not have a release date. That's weird. Like, this movie, finished filming in 2022. Like, where is this movie? God, this is very interesting. Like, where is this movie gonna happen? Or when is it going to? Okay, it looks like it might be later this year when it comes out, but I don't know. Let's see. But if it does come out this year, I do agree with people that, like, yeah, like, Jessica Lange has been very, very acclaimed for this performance on stage, and if this movie does come out this year, she's gonna get nominated. Like, it's like the big emotional kind of play-based movie that, that could just that could just get her in. And then I have The Room Next Door. For Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. Now this is interesting because, I didn't have this in my list, I don't think, before. But then I realized, but again, I was trying to figure out what was going on. But then I realized, oh wait a minute, yeah, Pedro Almodovar is making a movie this year, and The Room Next Door is his first. It's his first English language feature, and he does pretty well with getting actors nominated. Like, look at Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, and Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers. I feel like, especially if this is an English language film, which again is gonna be a little bit more broadly accessible for general audiences, Tilda Swinton could probably get in here. Because again, like if there's one thing you can, look forward to when it comes to Pedro Almodovar, the performances are going to be very, very good. And honestly, this might get 2 nominations if I'm going to be honest. And then we have some other potential candidates. We have Robin Wright for Here, which I just realized I only have 2 Best Picture nominated performances, at least I'm predicting, in this list. That's probably not a good sign. Yeah, because what do we know? What do we know? What do we know from the Oscars? They love they do prioritize Best Picture nominees first. Although maybe one could argue that with Angelina Jolie and Jessica Lange and maybe Tilda Swinton, they are enough legends to bypass that. But I don't know. It's tough. Because Robin Wright, I am predicting here for a Best Picture nomination, which, again, on paper, I really shouldn't, because Robert Zemeckis is just too, divisive of a director. But that Eric Roth screenplay, that bodes well for this film. And Robin Wright could definitely get, an overdue, Oscar nomination for Here. So there is that. And one performance that I feel like a lot of people might be sleeping on right now is Regina King for Shirley. Now, granted, it did come out on Netflix, and no one has talked about it since. So that's a problem. Now, granted, Rustin didn't do anything on Netflix, and yet Coleman Domingo got nominated everywhere, including the Oscar. But it also came out at the very end of the year. Whereas, again, Shirley, it came out like a month or 2 ago. So, and everyone's just forgotten about it. So I think maybe that's why Regina King won't get nominated here. Although, let's just say maybe she gets SAG. If she gets SAG, that could definitely help sway the conversation. And I guess, she could also get into the Golden Globe for drama, but I guess that would also depend on if Lady Gaga in Joker Folie à Deux is going to be put under drama actress or comedy musical actress. So I don't know. Regina King might just get lone SAG. That might just be what happened, because I don't think they're going to go for Angelina Jolie for Maria. So I don't know. Mikey Madison for Anora. This would also make sense, because Anora, I am predicting to get Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay, but she's not very well known. This is her first big film, and she might just be Greta Lee. She might just be Greta Lee, where it's the movie gets into Best Picture, but she's just too small of a name to be nominated, and she's sure as hell not going to win. I think that might have been what hurt Greta Lee, and what I probably should have realized is that, yeah, she was in a Best Picture nominated film, but no one knows who Greta Lee is, and she's not even competitive to win. Even Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, people didn't really know who Lily Gladstone was, at least not in a broad sense, but Lily Gladstone could have potentially won the Oscar. Like, so that's probably why that's why they were still able to get nominated. So this is tough. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna predict Mikey Madison because she's just too much of a small name right now. And again, I don't hear anybody saying that she's gonna win the Oscar. So yeah. And then we have Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez. Now, granted, this would make sense because Amelia Perez once again in Best Picture. I am predicting Amelia Perez in Best Picture because it is going to win, or at least right now, I think it's going to win Best International Feature, and the Oscars are starting to really open up towards more international films, and so I feel like if a movie's going to win Best International Feature, it's probably going to get the Oscar nomination as well. Now, again, I feel like, Carla Sofia Gascon could also get in. Could also face the same problems as Mikey Madison. No one really knows who she is, and granted, she did win the Palm, but it's like, you see a lot of her co-stars, like Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez, and no one really knows who Carlos Sofia Gascon is. So I think that would probably be a big hurdle right there. Ryan Destiny for The Fire Inside. Once again, I am predicting The Fire Inside for Best Picture, but again, no one really knows who Ryan Destiny is. I feel like for The Fire Inside, it's going to need to get it's probably going to need to get adapted screenplay and supporting actor, maybe film editing, because if this is a sports movie in Best Picture, I guess it would make sense to predict it for film editing as well. So yeah, but again, I feel like Ryan Destiny is probably not going to win Best Lead Actress, and she's already not a big name. So yeah. I have Daisy Ridley in for The Young Woman in the Sea. Now, granted, maybe this is just kind of a kind of hoping thing, because in the grand scheme of things, I don't see The Young Woman in the Sea getting nominated, because Disney is not going to put this movie in theaters for very long. Let's talk about Young Woman in the Sea, because this seems to be a movie that is basically Naiad for people that don't like Naiad. And Disney reportedly is wanting to make this like their biggest Oscar player, which is very interesting, because they want Searchlight. Like, what's Searchlight got? Like, the closest thing they probably have is Night Bitch, and I don't think that's happening. And so you have Young Woman in the Sea, which is a very, which seems to be a very broadly appealing film. But the problem is, basically, Disney wants to make this their big awards push, and so they're just going to put this in theaters for basically the bare minimum the bare qualifying minimum for the Oscar consideration, so that and then pull it out of theaters, so that there's no stories about how it failed at the box office, and then they'll just put it on Disney Plus and try to push that. I don't know if that will work for two reasons. One, if you want to make this your big awards player, why are you releasing this in the summer? Because it's not granted, yes, there are many movies that release that have released when it's not the fall festival season that got into Best Picture. Look at Past Lives, look at Oppenheimer, look at Everything Everywhere All at Once. Look at Barbie. Yeah, yes, I know this. But here's the problem. Those movies were also considered by many to be some of, if not the best movies of those years. Young Woman in the Sea, I don't think is going to do that. It's getting pretty good reviews, but I don't think it's going to be enough to sustain this movie for months up until awards season. And the other problem is, Young Woman in the Sea is for people who don't like Naiad, what probably means it would be for people like me, but the Academy really liked Naiad. In fact, the film industry in general really, really liked Naiad. 2 acting nominations at the Oscars, and even a nomination at the Writers Guild of America? there's a good argument to be made that Naiad was in the top 15 for Best Picture. And I don't think the Oscars are going to bend to the whims of what film Twitter wants and go, oh, nominate the good Naiad, like the good Naiad movie. Like, because they're going to be like, no, we like Naiad. We already nominated it. So, I don't know. Like, I think this is a really bad idea for Disney, because it's like, if you want to make this your big awards player, and this movie is not going to be considered, like, the best movie of the year, why are you releasing it in summer? And, like, one could also argue, well, that's what, you know, Coda did. But it's like, again, Coda, I think the other thing about Coda was that it's not piggybacking off of another film that's a lot like it. Like, I mean, okay, granted, it's also a remake, but nobody knew anything about the original film. No one knew anything about the original film. Like, Young Woman in the Sea is literally, like, again, Disney's Naiad. So it's like, I just don't think that's going to happen. And I already talked about Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I just think Blitz is stronger in Best Picture. And unlike a lot of the other people I mentioned here, people know who Saoirse Ronan is, and she's been nominated many times. Then I have Zendaya for Challengers. This movie did pretty well at the box office, and, you know, obviously got film Twitter riled up. If this movie can actually make a splash during award season, and this hype can be sustained throughout the end of the year, then I think there might be a chance Challengers could come back. But again, I don't know. It's tough. I don't think it's happening, but we'll see. Amy Adams for Night Bitch. I'm only putting this in here because it's Searchlight, but again, I feel like Disney's just not gonna do well at the Oscars this year. And aside from maybe because Planet of the Apes is gonna get a visual effects nomination. I think Deadpool 3 is gonna get an Oscar, a visual effects nomination. There might be a chance Inside Out does. I mean, hell, if Elemental did, why not Inside Out? So this is tough, but in terms of their big prestige films, they don't really have anything. Again, Young Woman in the Sea might be their best bet, but the fact that they're just putting out in summer is just, no, that's not going to work. But yeah, I don't think Amy Adams is happening. I guess it's tough because if Night Bitch really is more than what the plot is describing it, which is a woman or starts behaving like a dog or thinks that she is a dog, I don't know what's going on there. If there is more to this movie than what it seems, then maybe it could get in. Then we have Emma Stone for Kinds of Kindness. I'm probably going to get a nomination at the Golden Globes for Best Actress, Musical, or Comedy, but Kinds of Kindness is just showing to not be a thing. Tilda Swinton for The End. Again, I feel like The Room Next Door is going to be a bigger player than Tilda Swinton, and I don't know, something about The End is telling me that this is just going to be a very experimental film in a way that the Academy is not going to like. And then we have Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. I don't know, maybe, but I'm not even predicting this for Best Picture, so it's really, really tough. So, yeah, I don't know. Then we have Lead Actor. And another thing I should mention ever since, my previous Oscar prediction, The Apprentice is in big trouble. All right, it still does not have a distributor. It is facing legal battles galore, and it seems like no studio is willing to touch it. So, what I thought was going to be a win competitive performance with Sebastian Stan, there might even be a chance that the movie just does not come out this year. So it's tough. But if this movie does come out this year, I have to imagine Sebastian Stan has to be the bare minimum this movie gets, because he is transforming into Donald Trump, and people don't hate this movie, but then again, I don't know, people don't seem to be very passionate about this movie either, so it is very tough. But I'm still going with Colman Domingo for Sing Sing, and one thing I didn't realize is that Colman Domingo, I already knew Sing Sing was based on a true story. I didn't realize Colman Domingo was playing a real life person. So that could help. I think that helps him. The fact that he is playing a biopic performance definitely helps him in this regard. And being in the Best Picture winner, Sing Sing, I think does help. But don't don't sleep on Paul Bettany. All right, Paul Bettany for the collaboration might win. Not only is he playing Andy Warhol, but it's also a script by Anthony McCartan. And what do we know about Anthony McCartan? He gets actors nominated for Oscars, and many times they win. Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. What was it? Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. What's his name? Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. And in terms of nominations, you also have, what's it? Oh, frick, what's his name? Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. Or Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. Like, he gets actors nominated. And one could argue, well, what about, I Want to Dance with Somebody? I think it was very, very clear that was just not going to happen. Like Naomi Ackie for I Want to Dance with Somebody was just clearly not happening, considering how weak that film was overall. If the collaboration is even like pretty well liked, I feel like that could still be enough for Paul Bettany to get in, and again, potentially win. I mean, he could win the BAFTA. He could win the Golden Globe. We'll have to see. But I do feel like Paul Bettany will actually pose a challenge to Colman Domingo. Nicholas Hoult for juror number 2. I also have. I feel like I said, juror number 2 is going to be Clint Eastwood's potentially final film that he's directing. And I don't like reading the synopsis about this film. Nothing about it really seems like it's going to be controversial. It seems like it's just going to be a very good, agreeable kind of film. And like I said, if it's just generally agreeable, like, oh yeah, pretty strong film, then I feel like Nicholas Hoult might get in. Especially since I don't really know who else, especially since the rest of the contenders I feel like might be kind of weak. Tom Hanks for Here, again, Best Picture nominated film, and he is going to be transforming a lot. There is going to be de-aging CGI on him. So, you could make an argument that maybe he might win because it is very transformative, but I don't know. I feel like something like Sing Sing and the collaboration might be more accessible. But still, if Here is in Best Picture, I would have to assume, at least right now, that Tom Hanks is getting Best Lead Actor. And I've already talked about Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. At this point, I'm very concerned about The Apprentice's Best Picture chances. Because, again, lawsuits, no one is distributing this film. We're already in a very hot presidential election, so it's tough. So at this point, it might just be Sebastian Stan or bust, and even then, I'm not completely sold on Sebastian Stan. Which is weird because you would think he might have a chance to win because he is transforming into Donald Trump. But again, the hurdles that this movie is facing, and the fact that it's just generally not considered oh man, this is one of the best movies of the year. I'm worried about this film now. I'm worried about Sebastian Stan. So we'll have to see. Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. I don't know. Something I know a lot of people are saying this is going to get a few nominations, including, the acting nominations. I don't know. Admittedly, something feels off about Conclave. All right, something feels off that I'm just I don't know if it's going to get in, because it's a thriller about the cardinals at the Catholic Church, and it's I don't know, something about it just doesn't feel right for in predicting it for Best Picture. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Daniel Craig for Queer. If this movie's in Best Picture, then he's absolutely getting nominated, I would say. But I don't know. There still is a bit of an iffy spot there. So I don't know if it's going to happen. But yeah. Let's see. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker Folie à Deux. Golden Globe nomination could very well happen. Maybe even SAG. But, however, I don't know. I don't feel like they're gonna, nominate him for the same performance that he did in the last film. Again, unless this film is like The Godfather Part 2, where it's like competing to win Best Picture, and I just don't think that's happening. I don't think Joker 2 is going to be that strong. So yeah, John David Washington for The Piano Lesson, perhaps, maybe. But I don't know. The Piano Lesson's already not going to be in Best Picture from what I'm predicting, and it's kind of tough. So I don't know. Paul Mescal for Gladiator 2. Again, this would have to be a very, very, very strong film for Paul Mescal to get in. And even then, I don't think he's the most likely performance to get nominated in that film. So yeah, Andre Holland for the actor. Maybe, I don't know. Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness. Timothy Chalamet for Dune Part 2. Again, I think Dune would need to be competitive to win Best Picture, and for Timothy Chalamet to get in. And even then, I don't even know if that's a good bet, because Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King won 11 Oscars and didn't get a single acting nomination. So, I don't know if that's happening. And I brought back Kingsley Ben-Adir to round out the top 15. And I don't know. Right now, nothing really seems to be strong. None of these seem to be strong contenders. And I'm just keeping Kingsley Ben-Adir in the back pocket right now. I'm keeping him in the back pocket because, I don't know, maybe if there's just no competition at all, Kingsley Ben-Adir could maybe come back. But again, nobody likes the movie. So it's like, I guess, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I don't think he's happening, but I'm just keeping it in the back pocket at number 15. Supporting actress. Weirdly enough, I have Daniel Deadwyler winning for The Piano Lesson, and as you can see, who I originally had in my top, number 1, Maria Bakalova for The Apprentice, she's all the way down at number 9. Not only from the fact that from what I've heard, Maria Bakalova is not in it as much as you would think. It is not really as explosive as you'd think, but. Not only that, again, the legal problems this movie is facing and no distributor, I was like, okay, if Maria Bakalova was already showing to be weak in a film that people were already saying that she was not really that big in, then this, I think, just kind of killed her chances right here. So right now I have Daniel Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson, but again, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really, convinced of any of these actresses. I don't know what's happening here. So, I have Daniel Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson, because, I don't know, maybe, but it's but then again, at the same time, the only film I have in Best Picture here is Juror number 2, and I just don't know if Toni Collette's gonna win for that, but again, we'll have to see how that goes. If Toni Collette does prove to be a true powerhouse, then maybe she can climb back up. But right now, I'm just I don't know. But right now, Daniel Deadwyler, The Piano Lesson is a big, baity kind of, play-based film, so maybe she can win. I don't know. Julianne Moore for The Room Next Door. At this point, I'm probably going to say she gets nominated because, again, Pedro Almodovar gets actors nominated, and again, this is his first English language feature. Same argument I had with Tilda Swinton. Anjanou Ellis-Taylor for The Nickel Boys, maybe, but again, I just don't know anything about, I know what the basic premise is, but it's I don't know what kind of movie this is going to be. Is this going to be an Oscar player or no? I don't know. Nothing, it's very vague to me so far. And Natasha Lyonne for His Three Daughters, I'm putting her in here because, it's basically, one of the few options I have that would maybe make sense, because I've heard that this movie's very, very good. Netflix has acquired it, so it's maybe that might happen, but again, I'm just not convinced of any of this so far. Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez and Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez. Again, maybe this happens. Again, I am predicting Emilia Perez for Best Picture. And these are two pretty big names that stand out in this film. So if it's strong, they might come along with it, but I don't know who it'd be. I've heard people say that it might be, Zoe Saldana. because she's arguably more of a lead. So we'll have to see. Isabel Rossellini for Conclave. Again, I'm just not sure about this film. Something about this film just doesn't sound right for nominations. I don't know. Joan Chen for Dee Dee. Maybe that happens. I don't know. Leslie Manville for Queer. I don't know. Elizabeth Olsen for His Three Daughters. I don't know. Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine. I don't know. Oh, wait, I forgot to talk about The Smashing Machine for lead actor. Let's talk about the potential for Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine. All right, an image did come out for The Smashing Machine, and Dwayne Johnson looks unrecognizable. Like, oh my god. Like, I think The Smashing Machine might even be winning Best Makeup and Hairstyling. But then again, I don't know. Is that a good bet to make? Because Dwayne Johnson, I don't think he's getting nominated for Best Lead Actor. Although, again, we'll have to see how that movie does. But the makeup is being done by. I'll talk about that later when we get to the text later on. But yeah, with Emily Blunt, I don't know. I feel like this is just going to be more of a Dwayne Johnson showcase and showing, oh man, you've never seen Dwayne Johnson like this before. And so I don't know if Emily Blunt's going to come along with that. So we'll have to see. Aubrey Plaza for Megalopolis. She's one of the few good things I've heard about this movie. So I don't know. And then some people are trying to predict Catherine Keener for Joker Folie à Deux, saying, oh, she might be some comic book character that they haven't announced yet. I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be like that. I don't. I think it's good. I think Catherine Keener is going to be like Robert De Niro in the first film, where it's like, oh man, you got Robert De Niro for this? Maybe, maybe he might get nominated, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think Catherine Keener is going to be a thing for Joker Folie à Deux. So, yeah. Even if they are keeping the role secret, I don't know. I don't know what this movie would need for Kath. I don't know what Catherine Keener would. I don't know who Catherine Keener would need to play for a movie like this. That's basically just a 2-person show with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. I don't know what kind of character Catherine Keener would need to play to be nominated for supporting actress here. So I don't know. And then rounding it all out, we have supporting actor. All right. A lot of people are going with Samuel L. Jackson for The Piano Lesson. And I get it. Big, showy Broadway type performance. He's overdue for an Oscar. But I'm sorry. The Piano Lesson is not guaranteed for Best Picture. And Sing Sing might be winning Best Picture. And if Sing Sing is winning Best Picture, why would Clarence Macklin not come along with it? Like, why would Clarence Macklin, in what world, like, from what I've been hearing about Sing Sing and how, passionate and good Clarence Macklin is in this film, why would Sing Sing, the movie winning Best Picture and potentially SAG Ensemble, why would this movie win all of that, and yet Clarence Macklin, which many people say is the heart of the film, not win? Tell me why. Like, yes, no one really knows who Clarence Macklin is, sure, but that's why I wasn't really predicting a lot of the actresses for lead actress and stuff like that. But here's the thing, I didn't predict people. Like, let me look back. All right, let's look back here. All right. I wasn't predicting Mikey Madison or Carla Sofia Gascon or Ryan Destiny, any of them, because yeah, I do think those movies are getting into Best Picture, but nobody really knows who they are. But also, I wasn't predicting those actresses because those movies were not winning Best Picture. Sing Sing could very well win Best Picture. And so, if Sing Sing is being highly considered to win Best Picture, then I feel like Clarence Macklin fits the bill of, Troy Kotsur. Like, no one knew who Troy Kotsur was, but slowly but surely, Coda started to creep up in the Best Picture race, and then it won, and Troy Kotsur came along with it. And I feel like if Sing Sing is going to win SAG Ensemble and is on trajectory to win Best Picture at the Oscars, why would Clarence Macklin why would Clarence Macklin lose to someone who's not even guaranteed to be in a Best Picture nominated film? I don't get it. Like, and like, I just don't. I feel like what's going on with Clarence Macklin is going to be too strong for Samuel L. Jackson to break through that. Like, for Samuel L. Jackson to win this, I feel like The Piano Lesson would need to be like a top 5 Best Picture nominee, and I don't even think it's in the top 10. So yeah, I think people need to take Clarence Macklin more seriously as a winner. Because yes, Samuel L. Jackson has the narrative, but Clarence Macklin also has a narrative, and again, he's clearly in a bigger Best Picture film. So yeah, I feel like people need to start waking up and realize that Clarence Macklin is more likely to win the Oscar here. At number 3, I have J.K. Simmons for juror number 2. I think having people like J.K. Simmons in juror number 2 is slowly, like, was what was making me, convinced that maybe this could be a good player for Best Picture. Because it's like, all right, they're getting a lot of, like, big veterans in this film for... Like, and so, like, I don't know. I feel like this could, especially if J.K. Simmons is playing a judge. If he's playing a judge, then he's going to be I think that's going to be a very strong case for him to be nominated in this category. Brian Tyree Henry for The Fire Inside at number 4. All right. Now, Brian Tyree Henry. The Fire Inside, I feel like this is one of those things that is making me think it could get into Best Picture, because they moved the release date to December. And I feel like if Brian Tyree Henry really is that kind of inspirational, heartfelt kind of gives that kind of heartfelt performance, I feel like he would get nominated for this. And who knows, maybe win competitive? I mean, who knows? I mean, that might happen. But yeah, I feel like for The Fire Inside to get into Best Picture, I feel like it would need a good package to come along with it. Like I said, screenplay, supporting actor, potentially film editing, because inspirational sports movies really do tend to get into film editing. So yeah. And then Jeremy Pope for the collaboration. Again, Anthony McCartan, he's playing a real-life figure. I feel like that could very much help him, you know? Then I have Harris Dickinson for Blitz. He might he might get in, but it could also be a case where, like, you know, the Golden Globes go for him and the BAFTAs go for him, but he doesn't ultimately come along with the film in Best Picture. But I don't think the film needs Harris Dickinson to come with it. But then again, I don't know. We haven't seen the film, and maybe he might be in contention to win. Who knows? Paul Raci for Sing Sing. You know, if this movie, like, overperforms to the Oscars, because let's face it, like, when movies are strong in Best Picture, then they tend to overperform at the Oscars, in terms of nominations. If the Academy is really, really passionate about Sing Sing, Paul Raci might get nominated as well as Clarence Macklin, and we could just see a double nomination. That might happen. Paul Bettany for Here, maybe that happens, but again, we'll have to see, like, how strong of a character he is in the film. But maybe he transforms, but who knows? Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. I don't know. I feel like I need to be convinced that A Real Pain is really happening. Like, once maybe, if maybe the Golden Globes start going for A Real Pain, then maybe I will start taking the movie a little bit more seriously, but I don't know. A Real Pain just sounds like a film that is destined to do pretty well with critics, but ultimately kind of goes nowhere. Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. See, this is the kind of thing where it's like, if Gladiator 2 gets into Best Picture, he's the most likely acting nomination to come along with it. Because it's Denzel Washington, who is like an Academy darling, and he is like this big antagonist in Gladiator 2. Oh, like, they could definitely do that. But again, I think that really hinges on if Gladiator 2 is strong. If Gladiator is strong, then Denzel Washington, I think, is going to get in. John Lithgow for Conclave, Stanley Tucci for Conclave, and Javier Bardem. The Conclave boys. Let's talk about the Conclave boys. Again, it's that same argument. I don't know if Conclave is going to be a real thing. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't seem right. If it is going to be a real thing and people are saying, oh, wow, maybe they could happen, it's like, all right, then I'll bump them up. But it's like, I don't know. And then we have Javier Bardem and Austin Butler for Dune Part 2. I don't think these are really happening. People are really wanting Austin Butler to happen, in which, I wouldn't mind that. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to go for these two. Especially since I feel like the most likely, blockbuster nomination I have in this list is Denzel Washington. So, I don't know. But again, I feel like if it were between the two Dune boys, it'll probably go to Javier Bardem because he is more of an Academy darling. So, we'll have to see. And guys, those are my acting nomination Oscar predictions for next year as of June. Next week, we're going to be talking about director and original and adapted screenplay. We're going to be talking about those movies. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. And now I want to pass the question off to you. What are your current Oscar predictions for the acting categories for next year's Oscars? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you don't, Long Day's Journey into Night will never come out.